Welcome to Thriving Rockstar with Alex Rakin. Today's guest is Mats Haugen of Circus Maximus. How are you, Mats?
I'm always good, always good.
Awesome. So I've actually interviewed Mats, what was it, like 2 years ago? Something around that time.
2 years ago,
yeah, I think. And it was more for my artist health coaching thing more than this. And so we'll revisit some of those topics, but I'm interested what you have going on. So what's happening with you?
Well, I'm doing the same as always, working and more working, being with my family and working on some music. Finally, working on some new music. So instead of just playing a lot with all the other bands that I'm in, it's just focusing on Circus Maximus now. So
that's awesome. Yeah, I noticed you guys.
We got some new things.
Oh, you guys got some new music coming with them.
We have something coming, yeah. Mm-hmm. Actually, a couple of things. So we have two brand new songs. Actually, that's we're gonna release. But the thing is that they're not that brand new. They're like 11 to 10 years old or something. So they're actually from the first chapter and the Isolate era. So we wrote them back then, but we never released them. So that's what we're gonna do now. We're gonna do a little EP with the two like more epic songs, sounding like back then.
Nice.
Like we did back then. So,
yeah, I love that style. That's when I got into you guys back in say 2006 or 7. That's that's the stuff.
Yeah, we wrote them around there, I think. Mm-hmm. So, but of course, the mix is more like it sounds like today.
Oh,
so,
that's
but
good.
the songs are old. So
sure. Who's mixing?
We're really looking forward to release them. So it's gonna be nice.
You guys,
and we have
go ahead.
No, and we have a live album coming out as well. Mm-hmm. So. Things are happening.
Good. I know the
slowly,
feeling.
Of course.
Sure. I know the feeling of waiting a long time, for things to happen because band, it's in some kind of pause because of families, because a lot of things can get in the way of being a consistent releasing band, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm. So what are some of those challenges? Like what's held you guys back in the past few years, I guess?
Well, it's we got a lot of stuff going on. Everyone has a lot of things going on with like a lot of work and a lot of kids running around. So I don't know how many kids we have in total within the band, but it's a lot of kids, and it takes a lot of time, and of course that's the most important thing. So so we have the last 2 years, I think we have we plan to like do it a little. Do things a little slowly and not focusing that much on the band and writing new stuff and just like being with family and but now we have like things going on and we are ready to get out of the cave and like do new stuff.
Good. Yeah, I noticed just kind of earlier today I seen a post on Instagram, I think it was, or somewhere, where you guys have cool show coming up in June. It's the festival.
Yeah, definitely. It's actually that's a real cool thing. Actually, we have a festival in Norway called Tons of Rock, and they have had that festival in a part of Norway, like 1.5 hours from here, at this really cool venue with like an old fortress.
Wow.
So it was a really cool venue, but it held maybe around 12,000 people or something. But this year, they moved the festival to like 10 minutes walk from my house.
Wow.
So to like a big place called Ekeberg, which is like the same place that we host one of the biggest soccer tournaments in the world. So, but this year they moved Tons of Rock there, so we can walk to the festival with my guitar on my back, you know. So
That's so cool.
it's crazy, and you have Kiss playing, and you have, of course, Dream Theater playing on the same day as that we were playing, and Slayer, and a lot of cool bands. So it's really strange.
Yeah, that's
just
very
in the backyard.
cool.
We can just walk down. Really strange.
Yeah, maybe John will cook some burgers in the back.
I know I can bring you some good burgers from a lot of burger joints in Oslo, and he would I'm sure he would enjoy them as hell.
Okay. I still listen. I still haven't gotten to get you guys some New York pizza over here, as I promised.
I would love eating some New York pizza. I've tried it once. I tried the Joe's Pizza. Mm-hmm. I tried it once when we played in New York. Yeah. I think it's when the first time I met you.
Yep. That we played. We played there with Haugen the next day, so that was. I remember. So that was a lot of fun. That's a cool venue. Unfortunately they closed after that. Like just
I heard.
Yeah, but then they reopened. But I think Barclays bought them out. So they're a bit different, but. Yeah, it's good the venue is back though, you know, because it's a historic venue. A lot of places kind of closing down, unfortunately, you know, the rock clubs and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Yeah.
That's too bad.
Mm-hmm. So before we went on video, before we kind of started rolling here, you were playing something back there. What do you have going over there?
Actually, I was just going through my Spotify playlists, and I have some video games music, selected songs that I've listening to like since I was a kid.
Sure.
Of course, not on Spotify, but the songs I've listening to them forever. So, and I listened to the bombing mission from Final Fantasy VII, like the opening, the opening song. Oh yeah,
yep.
That's most like one of the most epic video game intros ever.
Yeah,
and I can feel it. I can feel it in my chest every time I hear it. It's one of the most greatest things.
My hair stands every time. Like it's.
Oh yeah,
it's a great thing. I think it defined a generation of musicians in a way, you know, because video game music definitely stands there, you know, especially for Prague, you know, because we go those places. So it's very cool. And Final Fantasy VII in particular, I don't know what it is about 7. It's just that was a sweet spot.
That was a great game, great music. Mm-hmm. Actually, I have a confession to bring forth to you on the One Winged Angels track from Final Fantasy VII, when you face Sephiroth in the end.
Yeah,
there's a little part there in the end. Actually, I used like 4 bars of that part on one of the songs that we have called "Burn After Reading."
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's just like in the middle of a riff, but it's just the tones are like this. It's the same thing. It's the build-up is exactly the same. It's almost impossible to hear, but now you know.
Yeah,
maybe you can figure it out.
yeah. Listen, that's your, as I say, the tip of the hat, you know, to Uematsu, you know, and his legacy. So it's funny because we've modeled my band here, Infinite Spectrum. We've modeled riffs after what you guys have done on certain songs, you know, you have forgot which song it was, but you have like the same kind of chord playing, but then the keyboard is like shifting to different chords. And I think it was actually on the first chapter. I think the
Lord
actual
of the Empire song.
Yeah, Lord of the Empire.
The last part of the second verse.
Probably, yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
But that's like that's the oldest trick in the book. You know, in especially in like progressive metal and stuff. I've heard Symphony X done it like million times.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we were really into Symphony X back then.
Yeah.
And that song reeks of Symphony X, you know. So
yeah, Michael was telling me that he used to go to like when he went to like Symphony X shows, he would blow out his voice just singing along with Russell Allen.
Of course.
Yeah.
Nobody can sing like him. So
no, he's another kind of creature. But yeah, that's it's definitely. Symphony X is definitely on my list of, you know, favorites and what has influenced us in our writing and stuff like that.
Definitely.
So
great band.
So let me kind of get into the more kind of the meat and potatoes of, you know, what the show generally focuses on. So, you know, relationships are a big thing, and you kind of hinted at some of that, and family life, and you know, that's very important stuff, and also the fact that you're working a lot, you know, and you're doing a lot of different things.
We are.
Yeah, and you've told me in our last chat together that you were that you've played with pop stars and stuff and things like, you know, and all kinds of different artists, that you haven't limited yourself just to these kind of rock gigs.
No, definitely not. I play everything, you know, everything from like cover songs to pop music to even like rap and hip hop artists in Norway, which I've been doing for maybe almost 10 years now.
Wow.
So, but the cool thing is that it's you tap into something that you're not, you know, don't know anything about, right. And they work like completely different than I'm used to.
Right.
It's not like you're working on the same licks tons of times to get it right. You just jam, and if something wrong happens, that's what they might use. You know, right. they think that's the kind of thing that they like. So.
Yeah.
So it's I would never use it for my own music, but it's
sure.
But it's they think that it's a completely different mindset, you know.
Right. And what I like about, you know, what you're doing there, I mean, it takes humility, you know.
Definitely.
I mean, Prague people tend to be elitist and really kind of, you know, stick to their genre, you know, and aren't too open to. That's paradoxical, because Prague brings in so many different styles, but at the same time, it's also as restrictive as it is inclusive sometimes. So
actually, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, right. It's just like, it's like super open, but it's elitist at the same time. It's just a odd paradox. But like, you know, having the humility to go and play in a lot of different types of circumstances and styles. Not only like enabled you to have more diversity and being able to find work as a musician, but also probably expanded your horizons beyond the average Prague rock guitar player.
I'm sure that there's not that many progressive guitar players that's been doing the same thing as I've been doing.
Right.
But it's been really fun. You know, it's like it's completely different, and it's like liberating. It's you don't have to like I said, you don't have to like be like on time. You don't have to like be super technical. It's just doing whatever you want, and.
Right.
And people listening with different ears than I'm used to, so it's really fun.
Do you find yourself overthinking some things in those circumstances sometimes?
Not anymore.
Not anymore, right? Now it's just more of an organic approach.
Oh yeah, now it's I know I can do whatever I want, and
right.
There's always something that the producer wants to use, so it can be from one jam session, maybe it's like suddenly we got 3 or 4 songs just from jamming stuff,
right?
So so you don't have to like, you have to write the verse and then you have to write the chorus, and you just jam, and then suddenly you have like 4 songs, and then I think, how the hell is this 4 songs? Well,
Right.
that part and just chops it up, and this, I don't do that, but
Yeah.
it's,
Producers have that ear. They
yeah,
can
they
just
they,
like,
they did it. It's completely different than what I was used to doing. So, but I love it. I think it's so nice, so cool.
yeah. There's something about writing 20-minute songs that sort of like, disables a person from having pop sensibility anymore.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Definitely.
And so you kind of leave it to people who still have their pop sanity, if that's a thing. But yeah, that I'm sure that's contributed to you in important ways. As far as being able to sustain working, because I mean, if progressive metal made money, in some
I would do a lot of progressive metal. I
Yeah.
would do it all the time.
yeah, in an alternate universe,
In the
yeah,
alternate universe.
but
In the progressive
yeah,
universe.
in the progressive universe, sounds like an album name. So
I'm sure it's
Yeah.
taken.
yeah, pretty much. So, but yeah, giving it's given you the ability to work in music. So, is there work you've had to do sort of outside of music, to sort of to support the family and things like that over time, or have you?
Of course,
mhm.
I have I've been working with instruments and studio equipment and stuff like that for years. So that's the safe part of working. So if I hadn't been doing that, I don't think I would have a roof over my head, of course. But it's you have to like do a lot of stuff. But that's the main thing that I usually do. So, but it's yeah.
I hear that. Yeah. So it's you do what you have to do at the end of the day. I think a lot of musicians are sort of very proud in a bad way, right? Where they won't let themselves perhaps do what they need to do, and the whole thing about the starving artist is it's more about, I think, the stubborn artist. The one that won't drop his ego or her ego to be to do the things that need to be done.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, if you have the talent to create, then share that with the world in whatever capacity it requires rather than you require. I think and then you've done just that. So that's and that's great. And I'm sure if you've had fun doing it. Did you have reservations at first going into like playing different kinds of stuff? No, you just went with it.
No. I started the first kind of music that I started to listening to was like rap and hip hop music, and then it was like trance and techno and like electronic music, stuff like that. And then I started playing guitar. So I've been I like everything. It's I don't have any like limitations. I don't care what I listen to. If it sounds good, if you can draw some inspiration from it,
sure.
It doesn't matter what it is. Actually, it's
what's
I don't
interesting. I don't know if this is an American mentality thing, but as I was growing up, people who got into more of the rock and everything in that direction, and starting to play guitar is usually what gets you into that. And they usually go that way, and they're pretty like elitist and exclusive about it, where they won't listen to the other stuff anymore. They won't interact with that anymore. Is that a thing around where you are?
Oh yeah, of course. We have the same thing here. It's the same thing in Norway. You have like pure. You have people that you have to like do one thing, and if you tell them that I told the guy that I played in a Toto band a Toto cover band, because I also played a Toto cover band with Lasse, our keyboard player in Circus. And he the guy that I talked to is from like the more black metal scene. He was like furious. He was furious. He couldn't understand that I was playing in a Toto cover band. It was what? Why are you doing that? Toto sucks.
If you're
what?
If you're not slaying lambs, you're not metal, apparently, right?
Yeah. And I don't think I've talked to the guy since, and that's been years. So, but it's so strange.
Yeah.
For me to have that mentality, it's weird.
Right. Yeah. It's in your benefit not to have that mentality, you know. Yeah. So we are progressive after all, right? And it's a weird weird connotation of the word progressive in 2019. I'm not going to get political. That's not happening. But like, but what progressive metal is, progressive rock, and what progressive the word kind of means now, it's very, very different. So when you tell people you play progressive music, it's just it's confusing, or you have to kind of explain away, explain a lot of things. What do you tell? Just to humor me here. What do you tell people when they if they don't know Circus Maximus, like what you guys are?
Usually I just tell people that I play melodic metal.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And because that's for the average person in the street, they might understand that term.
Sure. They can put those two things together. Oh, it's metal and it's melodic. Okay, right?
Yeah, I like melodic. I don't like metal, but maybe I can like it because it's melodic.
Right.
Or something.
Yeah, exactly. Instead of confusing them and having to, give them like a whole 10-minute conversation, to explain what you mean,
So keep the progressive word out of it.
Yeah.
So I don't care about that, because there's so much music today in popular music that is progressive. It's
sure.
Like bands like Muse, they've done a lot of progressive songs.
Sure.
Maybe not now, but they have.
Yeah.
And even Coldplay have done that kind of stuff. In a more pop way, but it's but definitely like a progressive band. Without all the technical skills, of course, but it's the way they write music.
Yeah, you don't have you don't have to have like consecutive 7/8 riffs to be progressive in a sense, right? No, I mean there's timbres, there's all kinds of ways to that the music can be expansive, I guess.
Yeah,
and I think that's the point of progressive music. It's just like it's not kind of stuck in a box.
Definitely.
So no.
Like you said, we have the liberty to do what we want in like inside this box.
Right. Yeah. So Mats, a few years ago when we were talking about things, we had kind of spoken about diet and things like that, which you didn't have any kind of like strong philosophies around. Is that still the case?
I don't have that. No, I'm a person that likes to eat and drink, and I think about working out a lot, and I've been doing that.
Okay.
Not
just thinking about it, right?
When I was younger, of course.
Right. Oh, okay.
But working out is something that of course I should do it, but I love to like. Eat, drink, and eat a lot of different food. I love food. So
sure, yeah, you're a foodie.
Yeah, I am. So and my wife is one of the best cooks ever. So
that's awesome.
So it's I'm lucky.
Yeah. I'm about to go to Thailand for a month, so that'll be great.
Oh, you are?
In that sense, yeah.
Asian food.
Asian
food.
I mean, they have everything in.
Easy.
That's Chiang Mai. They have obviously the Thai food, but they have a variety of stuff. It's funny though, going to some places, like they don't get it right. and it's just funny to look at. You know, like there's some.
Yeah.
They really mess up Mexican food. That's, you know, but they're very far from Mexico, so I guess you can't blame them that much. But yeah,
Of course.
but you know, like if you're a foodie, you know, some stuff is like, really, like you couldn't, you know, it's not that hard, you know. Do you cook though?
I can.
You can.
I'm not the best. I'm not the best chef, but I can do some stuff.
Sure, but if your girl cooks, then that's, you know, that's great. You know, then
I've learned from her, so.
Oh, there you go.
But of course, I can cook some stuff, some really good stuff. But it comes down to maybe 5 things or something.
Sure.
So,
and like
not more than that.
We had, you know, and you mentioned last time we spoke, when you go out on stage, you know, you like to relax. You have a beer up there, right?
Oh yeah.
And any particular taste in beers? Any kind of beer?
Well, I like German beer.
Mm-hmm.
Czech beer. I think that might be the best. But it's Norwegian beer. There's a lot of good Norwegian beer in Norway. As long as it's not like really like a IPA. I'm not like a big fan of IPA.
Oh, you're not an IPA guy. Uh-huh.
IPA. I'm not a big fan. I can drink one maybe, but that's enough. You know, it's like eating a dinner,
right?
in a glass.
Right. So you're more into something a little lighter.
I like light beer.
Okay.
Yeah, lighter stuff.
Okay. Have you had a sour?
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
That might be. Sometimes it's good.
It's akin to a wine, you know. It has its own kind of little cool little flavor. So yeah, I don't drink that often, like, honestly. But if I do have a beer, it's usually a sour. It's if I can get one.
Nice.
You know, I'm in Brooklyn, so over here, it's
of course Brooklyn lager.
Of course, yeah. But like we have a big selection of beers and breweries here and stuff like that. And one thing, like, you have, so you have a beer on stage. Is it a beer? Is it like 2 or 3? Like, what does it end up being by the end of the show?
It depends who I'm playing with. You know, it's if I play with Circus Maximus, I never drink a lot. Maybe one beer.
Right.
Maybe one. I don't like to, you know, have a buzz when I play with Circus Maximus. It's not. I don't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, I've played a lot of shows with different acts here in Norway. Then it's okay maybe to have a few.
Right.
But it's not that I'm like drinking a lot on stage. I'm not that kind of guy.
Right. No, you're not like you're the furthest thing from like a sloppy drunk guitar player. Honestly, of many players that I've seen, and it's not just make you feel awkward with a compliment, but you are so on point on stage. Like you're nailing the circus parts like spot on, and the fact that you have a beer there at all is it's baffling. So it's like,
well, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I mean, that stuff is not easy to nail. Like you're getting it, you know.
Well, you have to drink a lot to nail it, to to get used to it.
To calm the nerves, maybe, right?
Well, one beer is no problem.
Sure.
If you have 3 beers, maybe then it fucks up the show. Can't do that. I can't do that. Of course, I wouldn't like to go to a Dream Theater show, or like maybe see Steve Vai on stage when he's like a little drunk. That wouldn't be nice, I think.
Right. There's a pristine quality to the music. It's like almost like watching a classical music show. You know, there's just so much intricacy, and then you don't want that to be hindered, by someone,
exactly.
on something like that. Yeah. So that makes sense. But you seem to be, you treated it responsibly. You've never had like a drinking problem or anything, right?
No, never.
Right. So you can kind of keep a balance.
Yeah.
Right.
Of course, I like to party like a lot of other people, but it's not that much, you know. It's but never compared to music and
Sure.
performing. Never.
Let me ask you a question, kind of go back into relationships and stuff, because like, you know, you seem to have yourself together and you have your self-control, and a lot of that comes from upbringing. How were your parents
Yeah.
like? Were they supportive of you with music
Oh
and
yeah,
stuff?
the best. Me and my brother, of course, Truls, the drummer in the band, they
Hmm.
were supportive as hell. You know, I don't think they could done anything better. Um, so of course, it mattered what they did for us when we were young, and they still do it. So
That's great. They come
yeah,
out to shows.
yeah, every time.
Wow.
Of course, in Oslo, when we play here in Norway, they always come out. So they
That
they,
can't.
they like to
Mhm.
see their old boys on stage playing, but to them we're just their kids, you know. So,
Sure. You know,
so it's nice,
it doesn't get old. And I
of
think
course.
it can't be overstated how big of a thing it is to, you know, if you have kids, to be behind them in that kind of way and support, because that encouragement is just so vital, you know,
Yeah,
to the
definitely.
development of an artist, especially doing something that's just so thought of culturally as, not to say taboo, but to say as not the most stable thing that you could be doing, or not the safest route to take as a career path.
Definitely not.
Right. And so, you know, the fact that you know, you had parents they're supporting you, I'm sure you're grateful of that.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. It's couldn't have done it without them. I think it's
Sure. So you have a kid,
not.
and
I have a son.
you
Yeah, I
do
have a
have a
son.
son. Yes, you do. I
Yeah,
remember. And so how old is he now?
well, he's turning 10 next month.
It's crazy, right? Probably grew so
Yeah,
fast before your eyes. You know, he was just
it
about
is
eight
crazy.
back, you know, two
Yeah,
years ago when we spoke. And is he inclined musically at all?
he is somewhat interested in music, but he's like a tech guy. He loves computers. He loves to build stuff.
Hmm.
So actually, earlier today we uh, we did cable management on his new PC, his
Mm,
new gaming PC.
nice.
So we have a new cooling system coming in tomorrow, and then tomorrow we're gonna like install the cooling system, and today we put all the RGB fans
Hmm.
and the new motherboard and a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah,
And he's like he's turning 10, and when I was 10 years old, I didn't know anything about that. But he's like he does everything. He knows where
sure.
everything's going. He's this everything with this connecting, and it's crazy.
Yeah, that was more like
So
me at 14, 15. But yeah,
yeah,
kids are getting it earlier than now, you know, so definitely, you
it's
know.
it's really nice.
Right, yeah. I mean, when you were that age, it was more of like the early consoles and stuff like that, and then PCs didn't really have the
Yeah.
power.
We,
So,
we, we didn't
yeah.
have we didn't have a PC. I think actually we have one of the first PCs ever at our house at home, because my father also worked with computers. So we had like 1 megahertz big tower
Wow.
standing at home, and then we had of course, some games on it, but they didn't have any music. All the games then, the computer didn't have a sound card. So it only had like black and white graphics, or like black and green graphics.
Wow.
And then we got the Nintendo Entertainment System, and then everything changed.
Right, right. You know, circling back to Final Fantasy and Uematsu's writing, and other composers of video games at those times, they had limitations, so much limitations in what they could write for those in that format, you know, because they
Oh yeah,
dealing with
definitely.
8-bit, there's so much limitations people aren't aware of like the instrumentation and how many notes can play at the same time and things like that, where they really had to get creative and come up with really cool sounding stuff with it. And so, even more credit, and also the timbres, so limiting with the timbres, to try to kind of make the sound of a distorted guitar somehow with this like cheesy old MIDI, like
but it was good.
It was
sounded,
good.
It was one of the best melodies in music that I've ever heard. Comes from video games. So easy. And still today it's a lot of course, but today it's you have traditional music in games.
Yeah.
But it's some games still have some cool music. So
in a way, I feel like if we're talking about like this kind of a history of music of what's called, and I'll put this in hard quotes, serious music, like classical music and that whole canon, kind of I think starting with like say John Williams went into the movies, and then into video games in the 80s and on, and so there's real serious composition happening in those realms. And so it's fascinating to see how that's developing, and it's great to see video game music being treated as serious composition.
And being toured even. Have you seen it?
I didn't go out to see it, but I've seen it in like video. As a matter of fact, one of my interviews recently, be posting it later, is Ben Cohen of Power Glove, with their video game metal band.
I love Power Glove.
Yeah, I think he'll love to hear that.
I love Power Glove. I think that they did something on the Far Cry. The Far Cry game, wasn't that Power Glove?
Was it? I don't know. I didn't look into that, but that I wouldn't be surprised.
I think they did not the Far Cry 3, but the Blood and something. I don't know the name of it, but it's I think that was Power Glove. But of course, I have a lot of Power Glove on my playlist on Spotify.
Awesome. And Casey Grillo, a previous drummer of Camelot, and now with Queensryche, I had him on. That was the second episode, and he actually was recording drums for a metal album being released as a video game.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, very cool. I think Ron Thal was on it too, and some other players. Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah. Bumblefoot.
Yeah.
So, very cool things that are kind of happening nowadays. And that kind of brings me to another point here, basically, that there's so many avenues that we can go into nowadays. Like things are very open, and there's a lot of crossbreeding of disciplines and industries. And I think that opens the door to a lot of musicians and composers and such, and just artistic people to find different avenues to express themselves in and to make money in, essentially. So and you've experimented, in a lot of different music. You just kind of let yourself do that and work and widely.
Definitely.
Has Circus Maximus or yourself experimented with anything as far as like subscription services or limited edition merchandise or anything, that any of these new ways of capitalizing on the industry, or what have you guys been up to?
We should have done that more. But we haven't.
Okay.
So we are working on it. Actually, we are because we have a lot of stuff that we can show people, and we have a lot of cool things that nobody has seen. Everything from videos, from recordings to pictures to whatever. It's a lot of stuff lying around. So we've never released it. So
one of my interviews also, that was Leslie Hunt of District 97, and she's a great She was an American Idol pre-finalist. Very good,
Yeah.
great singer that happens to be a singer of a prog band.
Oh, great.
Yeah, it is great. She just ended up there by chance, but ended up going pretty far with it. But her band, District 97, has something called the Inside the Vault Club. So they have a subscription service on their website that charges, I don't know, somewhere $5 to $10 a month, and you get access to this great archive of all this old material, all this kind of demos and other stuff, and then they even release exclusive stuff only for them. They put previews out to the public, but if you want to see it, it's part of this Vault Club thing, and they have a pretty good subscriber base. And it's since you guys have
nice.
Yeah, you guys have a loyal following. I would say, you know, like launching something like that would probably be it would be pretty successful, you know, and it's great to have that consistency rather than just like a one-time purchase. You know, you can continually offer them exclusive content, and you know, that's a great model.
Yeah, of course, it's almost the same thing that you do with like Patreon.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, but we have thought about it. So we might tap into that, definitely.
Sure. Kickstarter is another kind of idea, you know.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff that we can show people. You know, we have a lot of stuff that we have talked about for years. Oh, we should show people the layers of all the songs from that album. You can listen to every layer down, and because there's a lot of stuff behind what you really can hear. So a lot of stuff like that. So
I think progressive artists in general put a lot of, like you said, layers, and write their stuff with a lot of complexity, and also repeating melodies that come back in other songs that you can't really tell because they're just spread out in different ways. That would that'd be very cool stuff for people to, you know, dig their heels into. I think that's great content, and I think people would love to engage with that, and also to feel like they're part of like this exclusive little club, you know. So it's
definitely
beneficial on both ends. Yeah, cool. Yeah, so I hope to see something like that in the near future from you guys. Neil Morse, that was my first episode. He had he has an app, and it's the app has basically all the music he's been involved in, which is a lot.
Of course.
And all demos and stuff from the early days, early Spock's Beard and early Neil Morse, Transatlantic, everything he has been involved in.
Nice, cool.
Much. Yeah, and so it's like $7 a month, right? And I just got hit with the third payment, and I'm not regretting it. So that's my current review.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing that everybody should be doing, especially if you have something to show. It's a very good idea. So I will bring it to the guys. surely, yeah. And I think the biggest reason for these kind of extra ventures is not just to kind of nickel and dime everyone some more, but people don't realize that we've lost a source of revenue by not being able to sell music anymore, fundamentally, and now we have to basically tour and play more to make up for the loss, but it's not good to replace passive income with active income. Right, because then if we're out on tour, then we lose our time, which is the only thing that we have. And now you guys have a family. You guys have families, I should say, and you want to spend time with those families, and being out on the road all the time could, you know, really put a tax on family life, you know. So of course, and it depends on of course where you are in a band. If you are like Dream Theater, or if you're a big band, and that's what you do, that's what's make you make money from, you know, and make a living. But it's of course that's hard. It's almost no bands like they live by only doing music. So of course but it's not possible for us to be like away months, a year on tour. It's I don't think we want to do it either. It's being on a bus for like 4 weeks, coming home 1 week home, and then you go on another bus for like several weeks. I don't think we are put together like that.
I don't think people are meant to do that in general. Like, it's just not a natural way. It's very nomadic, It
is, and of course, and I admire bands that still do it. Like, they're touring and touring and touring and touring and touring, and they come home and then they have a new tour, like, all the time. I admire it, and I think it's really cool that they do it. And I know it's a lot of hard work, but it's. I think that's you have to like be. You have to want to have like a life like that, because it's not for everyone.
No, and the hustle is real, right? They're out there, pushing themselves, and it's very much grinding, and it's not a sustainable strategy either, And part of why I discuss the health and stuff on this show is because you want to be able to create and to be able to perform for as long as possible. And if you kind of overextend yourself, then you might be shortening your career, and that it won't work out in your favor, nor for your fans and any of that, or for your family for that matter. So and being out there, you got to know how to keep your head together, mentally healthy, and of course physically healthy. So
of course that's important,
right? And I'm sure if you guys are out, if you do have to tour extensively, certain things might shift, right? You sort of like right now, it's kind of casual. If my band goes out on a tour right now, then things would be pretty casual. Granted, I am the guy who would travel with the green powder and force everyone to drink it, so we don't get sick. And yeah, I'm the admitted.
Well, every band should have a guy like that.
It'd be great if everyone should contribute in their own way, I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
Someone has to be like the conscientious, serious guy, like okay, we got to be there on time, the thing and the other thing. Someone has to be conscious of the health and not over partying,
Yeah. Well, if you tour, if you like seldom tour, then it's more easy to party more, It's because it's you're away and there's no commitments. You don't have to like be up at 7 a.m,
right?
With the kids, you can just you can sleep through, and you can have a late night and stuff like that. So
it's different at different points in artist's career, right? Because I've had like say Neil Morrison, which is touring in a tour bus, who can sleep till 2 p.m. if they want to. He doesn't, but they can, right? They can sleep up until sound check,
Definitely, they can.
and cushy, it's like they don't have to, travel themselves and all that kind of thing. And then on the other side of the spectrum, there are people, who are in more of the position of like figuring out ways to sleep in their van. Or maybe sometimes getting some hotels and doing what they can, and having to drive themselves, take turns driving, and so touring becomes a very different animal. And in those circumstances, I think it's probably even more important for them to be on point in, with their health and all those things, because things can fall apart very easily.
You wear out if you're a traveling band, and if you have taking turns on driving through all Europe or the States. If you do that a lot, I don't think that's healthy for anyone.
It's not sustainable.
no, it's not good for the band. It's I don't think that's you can do it for maybe some years, but I think I don't think that we're meant to do that kind of thing.
No, 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 no. And also the quality of food and just a lot of things kind of fall down the drain.
Yeah.
Like I'm the health guy, and I have a picture. I think it was in a video we did, like, of a tour recap. We did a tour with Fates Warning, and I was in the car with some cheap gas station bagel with beef jerky on it and some like mustard or something so ridiculous, like
Yeah.
it's just that's what it comes down to sometimes, in those circumstances. But yeah, I mean, you do what you can do. You do, but it's good to be conscious, I guess, of these things.
Yeah. And everybody thinks that the musician can live on fries and burgers and beer and maybe some pasta. That's what everybody thinks that a musician needs. So, but that's so wrong.
It is. I mean, essentially, we're athletes to some degree, and we're performing for 2-3 hours. Some of us, in a given evening, and that's a lot, And besides, even just maybe there isn't so much of a physical aspect to some musicianship, just being out there in front of hundreds or more people, it takes a toll on your adrenal system and on other things as well.
Yeah.
And then it could lead to substance abuse. They even just calm us down. We take something, or that's just,
yeah, it's not good.
Yeah. So I get that. Mm-hmm.
Have you seen have you seen the Dirt movie on Netflix?
Dirt? No.
Yeah, it's based on the Motley Crue. The biography, the book from they wrote about the Motley Crue.
Yeah.
They made a movie now.
Yeah, one of my students seen it. Yeah, he was telling me about it. You liked it?
And you then get all the worst examples of what not to do.
Right. Right. Do they learn from it in the movie?
No, I don't think anybody learns anything from that movie. It's just. It's entertaining.
Got it.
And actually, I think most people, they want to experience what they experienced, even though it's the worst thing that you can do to yourself. So
I think what the worst thing that can happen to an artist in some cases is that there's some artists who've risen through the ranks very, very quickly. Like we're talking... I don't have a name specifically, but pop artists, say, who come up very, very quickly and have this quote unquote rock star lifestyle thrown at them in their early 20s, and that can lead to bad places very quickly.
Oh yeah.
The lack of personal responsibility.
Yeah. If you have a big success, it's of course much more easy. So
yeah. I mean, success itself has been people's undoing in some cases. And I wouldn't hold that as like a paradigm to not get successful or whatever. But the idea is like, you have to build character along with your success to be able to handle being that guy.
You have to. Yeah.
So that,
It goes hand in hand.
It does go hand in hand. And I think it's not a bad thing for things to take some time so you can learn along the way.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, we covered a few different things here, and I don't want to keep you for too long. Is there anything else that we didn't cover that you'd want to kind of mention on here?
Well, it's like I said in the introduction here, we have especially with Circus Maximus, we have some new stuff coming out. That's ready. It's mastered. The artwork is ready, and everything is ready. We just have to. We have some other stuff that has to be in order before the release, and then we have a live album coming out, and stuff are happening. So we have had some break now, but I think we're going to come back and do a lot of cool stuff
Cool. And what's your
and
personal
more music.
Awesome. What's your personal long-term goal for your career? What are you hoping to achieve?
No, I'm not really sure. I just want to do music as much as I can.
Okay.
And when I'm inspired, I don't think I don't have any like specific goal that in like a couple of years or some whatever I should do that and that and that. It's I've always been like the guy from Circus Maximus, you know. So it's everything has been about playing in that band.
Mm-hmm.
So if things are going slow there, then I'm going to think slow. So it's but maybe I'm going to do a solo album. Maybe
That'd be great.
Of course, that's the thing I've been thinking about. But so it might happen.
If you did do that, how do you think that would manifest itself stylistically?
I have no idea. It could be the most weirdest stuff, you know. It could be like it could be retro wave, like retro wave music, like synth wave.
Yeah.
With guitar solos, you know. I don't know.
Sure.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean that would like really kind of throw something new at the guitar world, if you would. That's.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That's pretty interesting.
So I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
So Mats, if you've been granted one message that you could share with all musicians, what would that be?
Just be yourself. Don't like chase another musician's sound. Just try to find what you want to sound like, and I'm not sure. It's I think that's the most important thing. So it's not important to cover your favorite song. Just do it in your own way, and I think that's the most important thing.
Right. Develop your own sound,
So,
basically.
Yeah.
Right.
And like I said, one more thing that I've said in interviews earlier, it's I think it's important to be a sponge, you know. Just be a sponge, you know. If you have to draw inspiration from like everything,
Right.
and don't limit that to metal or heavy music or rock music. Just anything. I think that's what defines you in the end.
Sure, that's definitely defined you.
Yeah,
being a sponge.
definitely.
That's great. That's great. That's great. I love it. I love it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Mats Haugen, dude, it's been great having you on again. And
likewise,
hit me up if you're in New
Thank
York,
you.
man. And we'll hang
Definitely,
out.
I will.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah.
All right,
Cool.
Cheers and good night.
Cheers. Good night.
See you soon.
See you soon. Bye bye.
Bye bye.